that ummah start? It start from what? Two people. One is called a husband. One is called a wife. From this, right, the Prophet says in one hadith, as a tazawwaju, get married, watanasalu, have children, فإني, because I, Rasulullah, I want to feel proud yawm al-qiyamah with my ummah being the most ummah of the planet. Yawm al-qiyamah. I want to have the majority to be my ummah yawm al-qiyamah. Now, this ummah that the Prophet is talking about, where does it start? From a relationship called husband and wife. And that is why Islam emphasizes on it. Good. Number two, what is the concept of marriage to begin with? Now, many oftentimes, this is where the bigger problems start. Because many of us, we think marriage is all about love. I love her. She loves me. That's why we're getting married. While in Islam, the concept of marriage is deeper than that. How does Islam view marriage? Islam views marriage as a way of what? Helping one another to grow in all fields in life. I'm going to repeat again. In Islam, marriage is what? An institution that two people, one is called husband, one is called wife, where they help each other to grow and become better people for the society. Whether it be spiritually, whether it be financially, whether it be socially, whether it be mentally, every aspect of life, a husband and wife supposed to help each other to grow. And that's what the concept of marriage is. And that is why we see the night the Prophet united Imam Ali and Fatima in marriage, the next day, early in the morning, the Prophet went to visit them. When he came to visit Zahra and Imam Ali, the Prophet asked Ali alayhi salam, Ya Ali, how did you find Fatima? Then Imam Ali says, Ya Rasulullah, I found Zahra, listen careful, the most helpful for me to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Rasulullah said to Imam Ali, Ya Ali, congratulations for having a partner who helps you to grow spiritually, to get closer to Allah. Then Rasulullah go to Zahra, Ya Zahra, how did you find Ali? And Zahra alayhi salam, she said exactly the same thing Imam Ali said to Rasulullah. Ya Rasulullah, wajadtuhu khayra mu'inin ala ta'atillah. I found Ali the most helpful for me to be obedient to my Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the concept of marriage. That marriage is for a husband to help his wife to grow spiritually, and so also she should help him to grow spiritually towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why when we look at the institution called marriage, what it means well, as an act of ibadah. Marriage is ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Marriage is the same way when a person prays or fasts, they get thawab. When you get married, you get thawab for being married. That is how Islam views this relationship. However, this relationship, from day one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set what we call guidelines. As a man, before I marry a woman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already said in Surah An-Nisa that in this called marriage institution, Allah said, I set up what is called a leadership and how this marriage is supposed to function. Because many times we think marriage is about dictatorship. I'm the boss and you have to listen. Whatever I said, it has to go. Either you sit down when I say it or stand up when I say it. When I say run, you run. It's like, mashallah, dictatorship. There is what? A boss, and then there's what? A slave. That's what people think about marriage. But in reality, marriage is not what? Slavery. First and foremost, my dear brothers and sisters, Marriage is about what we call amana al-ilahiyya. That woman that you married and you call her a wife is an amana of Allah in your hand. Yawm al-qiyamah, Allah will ask you, how did you take care of her? How did you treat her? Listen to the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you that amana is a trust that you took from the father, from her father to your house. That oh my father-in-law, I'm marrying your daughter to become a husband to her. Meaning what? I want to care for her and take care of her. And that is why in the Quran, Allah tells you, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, ku anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Allah says, Yawm al-Qiyamah, I will ask you, who? A husband, the man, right? What would he ask me? About people you call your spouse. People you call your children. They are all amana of Allah in your hand. Yawm al-Qiyamah, you will not enter heaven or hellfire unless you answer Allah. How did he treat that woman? How did I talk to her? How did I treat her? Did I take good care of her? Did I abuse her? Did I took her as a slave in this marriage? I will be answerable to Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you not only about your spouse, your wife, also you will be asked about those children Allah gave you. It's amana. And remember, Imam Ali and Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali. The day he married Zahra alayhi salam, the Prophet held the hand of Zahra and he told Imam Ali, open your hand. He put the hand of Zahra in his hand and he told him, Ya Ali, hadhihi wadi'ati indak. This is my trust I'm leaving you with. Take care of her. And the day Zahra passed, after her martyrdom, when Imam Ali was putting her in the grave, he reminded Rasulullah, he said, Ya Rasulullah, amanatun ruddat. That trust that you gave me, which was under my care, now I have returned it back to you. That is the concept of marriage. A woman is a trust in your hand. A man is a trust. The same thing, a woman also. Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah will ask her, how did you treat your husband? How did you take care of her? We all will be asked by Allah, Yawm al-Qiyamah, how did we treat one another? But from the Quranic point of view, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells men to begin with. This is for men, in the Quran. Allah said the moment you get married to this woman, you call her a wife, Allah tells you in the Quran, وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Allah said, you are to live with her. Now, there's no ayah in the Quran. Allah tells a woman to live with him with the kindness. No, there's no ayah in the Quran. But Allah is telling men, وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ, you men, live with them, women, with kindness. Why? Because the nature of women originally is kindness. A man can change, right? So Allah is telling you, a man, be kind to this woman that you took. Be kind to this woman you married. Why? Because she is under your care. Because the moment you get married, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you as a leader of this woman. You are her protector. You are her caregiver. You are her, like a father to her. That's what Rasulullah said. Every woman has a three set of fathers. Number one, Abun Waladaha, the father who gave birth to her. Number two, Abun Zawajaha, a father who married her. Now, this fatherhood means what? Protection, giving her care. That's how the father used to do. Good. Number three is a Abun Allamaha, a father who taught her, who gave a knowledge. Because teachers are like fathers too. So the Prophet says, every woman has three sets of father. Now, you as a husband, you are the second father to her. That what does it mean? I have to make sure that I care for her. Number two, I have to make sure that I am her protector. And that's why in Islam says that if a man stands to protect his wife for any invasion, and he died in protecting his wife, is considered shaheed in Islam. That's how Islam view protecting a woman. A woman, my wife, somebody wants to attack her. I stood, I fought, and I got killed in the process. Islam says you are considered shaheed. Not only that, in Islam, making wudu to for salat is wajib. Good. I don't have water. You have to search for water. Yeah, Islam. I have my wife. I have a water there. But I'm afraid if I go to find water there and leave her there, something might happen to her. Somebody might invade her. Somebody might attack her. What should I do? Islam says searching water upon you is not longer wajib. What should I do? It says do tayammum and pray with tayammum so that you can protect this woman, call a wife. That's how Islam views as a wajib upon a man to protect his wife. So the Quran tells you, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Live with them with kindness. Not only that, Allah said in the Quran, أَمْسِكُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفِ أَوْ فَارِقُوهُنَّ بِمَعْرُوفِ. When you decide to live with her as a wife, Allah said, live with them with kindness. And if you decide to let her go, Allah said, let her go with kindness too. Today, can you find anybody who divorces with kindness? Today, many of Muslims, when we get to divorce, that is when we become hyenas towards each other. Right? Now the marriage is ending. Now we become what? We become tigers and lions who wants to eat one another. While Quran says what? Yes, the marriage, if it doesn't work, Allah says, let it go. End that relationship. End that marriage with kindness too. How? Quran goes to another ayah, tells you that whatever you give her before the marriage, Islam says don't ask for it back. Today in our societies, whatever we give, right, bride of jewelries and golds and diamonds, when the marriage is over, what happened? You have to return everything. Right? Well, Quran says, whatever you give as a gift, don't ask back. As a courtesy, Islam says, don't. You give a gift, let it be. Why? Allah says, وَلَا تَنْسَوْا الْفَضْلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Never forget that kindness between the two of the families before you start the marriage. That's why it's very important. In relationship, we should learn to be kind towards one another. Now, Ya Islam, how does the kindness start? Number one, Islam says, watch the way you talk to your spouse. A husband and wife, the way we correspond with one another, the way we talk is very important. How should I talk to her? Islam says, when you talk to a wife, because today, some people might not be physically with their spouses, but they are abusive when it comes to talk. Some people, the way they talk to their spouses, as if they are nothing. As if they are even dirt. My dear brothers and sisters, this is not what the teaching of Islam is. If we really want to learn Islam, how to treat a spouse, Ahlul Bayt are our role model in this. Look at how Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam treated with their spouses. Look at how Imam Ali and Amir al-Mu'mineen, how he treated his wife Zahra alayhi salam. And in case you haven't heard it, you haven't seen it, I urge you to read what we call Hadith al-Kisa. And then you will learn how this called household of Imam Ali alayhi salam, where there is Imam Ali, Zahra, Imam al-Hasan and Hussein, how did they treat each other as a family? That treatment is what we call Hadith al-Kisa. The grandfather Rasulullah, how did he treat his daughter and his son-in-law, right? Imam Ali alayhi salam. And how did the son-in-law, Imam Ali, treated Rasulullah? And how did the grandkids treated their father and their mother and their grandfather? That dynamic all can be found in Hadith al-Kisa, where Imam Ali and Amir al-Mu'mineen, the way he talked to Zahra is mentioned in Hadith al-Kisa. When he walked into his house, The house of Imam Ali. He comes into that house. What does he say? Number one, Imam Ali doesn't enter the house without salam. Today, how many of us walk into the house and say salam to our spouses at home? So I walk in that house, my house. I don't need to say salam. But Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam taught us, yes, it's your house. Even if there is nobody in the house, Islam recommends you before you walk into your own house, which you live in alone, it says start entering the house with salam. Now imagine if there is a wife in that house. Islam says the first thing as you walk in, say salam. Now this salam, maybe we might think it's not a big deal. It's just a greetings. No. Salam is not a greeting. It's more than greetings. Salam is a dua. You are offering towards the person you're giving salam to. When I say Assalamu alaikum, salam is a dua. I'm praying towards whom? That woman, that wife, that mother in the house. And this Assalamu alaikum is the greatest dua we have in Islam. When you walk in there, you say salam. As you said salam, and she responds. You see, Az-Zahra alayhi salam and Imam Ali alayhi salam, one of the lessons they taught us how to treat one another as a husband and wife. Imam Ali, as he walk in the house, he said, Assalamu alayki ya binta Rasulillah. You know, he can say Assalamu alayki ya Fatima. But then he didn't say that. He gave her a title to respect her, to elevate her. It says, peace and blessing of Allah be upon you. Who? The daughter of Rasulullah. That's Imam Ali talking to who? Az-Zahra alayhi salam. Good. Az-Zahra alayhi salam, when she responds, she said, wa alayka salam ya Abul Hasan. She doesn't say, wa alayka salam ya Ali. So, oh, peace be upon you, the father of Al-Hasan. Now, this in Arabic is called what? Al-Kunya. You know, in Arabic, there are three sets of different names. One is called Al-Ism. One is called Al-Laqab. And the third is called Al-Kunya. Al-Ism is what we call in English maiden name. Given name that your parents gave it to you. That's called Al-Ism. Good. Al-Laqab is called, Al-Laqab means what? Nickname. The name you choose to yourself, or is added to you, or given you by somebody else. It's called what? Al-Laqab. The third one is called Al-Kunya. Al-Kunya is to call someone by the first child Allah gave them. Now, out of these three names, Al-Ism, Al-Laqab, Al-Kunya, the Arab culture, if you want to respect someone, the most is to call them by kunya. Not by the laqab, not by the name. You call them by father of or mother of, ya Ali, Zahra, Zainab, or Abu Ali, or Abu Zainab. This is the ultimate respect in Arabic culture, in Arab culture. And you see Zahra alayhi salam, that is how she talks to Imam Ali. Wa alayka salam ya Abul Hasan ya Amir al-Mu'minin. Kind talk is very important. That is one lesson that Islam teaches us, that as a husband, when you talk to your wife, always talk to them with the kindness. Now, why this is important, brothers and sisters? You know, talking with kindness is very important, because our words can be damaging and can be building also. These words that come out of our mouth can help someone to grow and can also destroy someone. Now, there's a research that was done in Japan. Just words. A research in Japan that was made to see how powerful your words can be. How can your word build someone, and how can your word destroy someone? What did they do? They found two sets of flowers. and they put them in the different rooms. And those flowers, they're the same kind, the same room temperature, the same environment. But then one person will enter in the one room and say good things to that flower. Just speak good things around the flowers. And then the same person will enter in the other room and talk what? Vain talk, bad words towards that flowers. After some times, the flowers that experienced bad talk died. That is how our words can damage living things. Your words can destroy someone without even knowing. That's why it's very important. As a father, as a husband, when I get to talk to a woman called my wife, or a woman called my mother of my children, I should learn to talk kindness. Because those words can be helpful or can be destructive. That is number one. Number two, Islam teaches us that we also have to deal with women softly, gently. Why? Because when you started to be harsh towards a woman, especially by words, that's when shaitan comes in quicker. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you and I, when you're talking to your wife, never start raising your voice. Why? Islam says, the Quran says, وَكُلِّ عِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْقَوْلِ. Ya Rasulullah, tell my servant that they should be careful how they speak to each other. Why? I said, because when he started speaking louder, angry, that's when shaitan comes in to make things worse. When you talk to your spouse, to your wife or husband, let it be gently and softly. Then you are closing the door of shaitan to come in. That is number two. Number three, you also have to know how Allah created a woman. And know how Allah created you as a man. Number one, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created a woman in a way that is different compared to the way Allah created a man. And that is why a man should treat a woman differently. In every marriage, we have to understand, how did Allah created a woman? And what should I do to help that relationship with a woman in that marriage or in that institution? A research was made, brothers and sisters. What makes or what brings a happiness in life? Prior to this, before this research, people thought making money is what makes you happy in life. When you make a lot of money, you become happy. Or when you become famous, when you become wealthier, then you become happier. But then after some times, they realize that no, happiness cannot be found in any of that. Then 75 years of research was made. 75 years. They made a research about one of the things that can make somebody happier. And they found the happiness can only be found in a very healthy relationship. Healthy relationship is what? Is the way to cause somebody to be happy in life. Not money. Not famous. Not to be famous and not to be what? Rich. Your happiness is based on what? On the good relationship you have. And not only that, they said even this good relationship that you have with your spouse, with your husband, they said it's also create in your body a healthy brain and a healthy body. Now think about it. What that means, a bad relationship, what does it do? It damages the body too. Bad relationship, what it does, it destroys the body and destroys the happiness as well. And that is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala. He says, Ahsanukum, ahsanukum li'iyali. He said, the best of you is the one who is kind to his family. And he says, Wa ana ahsanukum li'iyali. And I'm the best of you towards my family. The best of you. It's not about who prays 5 times a day. The best of you is the one who is kind to his family. Is kind to his wife, kind to her husband. And that is why the research has come to teach us. Where do we start to create that happy family? There's a research that was made, and this research, it has nothing to do with Islam. Just pure Islam, a pure research to find out what are the components that can help to create a healthy relationship, which end into a happy relationship. They say for a man, he needs 2 things. And a woman needs 2 things in relationship. If these 2 things is provided in relationship for a man, the happiest they become in that relationship. If the same 2 things was provided for a woman in a relationship, the happier she becomes in that relationship. What are they? For a man, to begin with, they said a man requires what we call care. And 2 is called respect. A woman, in order to get your husband's attention and to have your husband to love, it says, well, first, you have to show him that you care. And 2, you also have to show her what they call respect. Now, what does it mean to care? Meaning to be with him in every aspect of life, whether it's difficult time or in a happiness time. That is the most important key in relationship that a man is looking for. What about a woman? A woman, they say she also needs 2 things. One is called what? Care as well. And second, she needs affection and love. When a woman is given a love and care, she turns it to the most beautiful environment. Something to tell brothers and sisters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created a man and created a woman, right? Allah created a man to be what? A giver. And a woman, what does she do? She takes and she turns what you give to something bigger than you can do it as a man. Let me give you an example. As a man, you give a woman a house. Put it in the house. She turns the house to what we call home. It's a difference between a house and a home. House is a structure of building. Now, when we say a home, a place you find security, a place you find peace. A woman is what provides that for you. That's why the Quran says, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ وَخَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. You find comfort in her. But first, you have to provide it first. Then what? She nurtures it and provides it back to you better than what you give. That is what a woman is. But first, you have to be the giver. And secondly, a woman also can give you respect. But you as a man, you have to initiate first. You are the leader in that home, in that family structure. You have to start. Show her respect. And then she will give you respect back. But I cannot show her disrespect. I cannot be violent with my wife. I cannot be abusive with my wife and then expect her to be kind to me. Islam teaches us to be kind to them because they are a man of Allah in your hand. The way you talk, the way you provide, the way you treat her. Some of the husbands, when they leave to work, the house becomes, mashallah, happier. When they come, the house becomes what? The saddest place. When it's supposed to be the opposite. The house is supposed to be opposite. That when the husband leaves home, the family are sad that you leave him. When you come, the entire children and wife, they are happy that you're back. That is what's called a home and peaceful family. This is what Islam is teaching us. Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, they taught us one important thing. This woman is under your mercy, under your care, under your leadership. Be merciful to her, so that Allah, the one who is higher, become merciful to you. Irhamu man fil ard, yarhamukum man fis sama. Be kind to the woman who you married. Be kind to her. Be nice to her, so that someone who is above you becomes also kinder to you. But if I am not kind towards her, I expect Allah to be kind to me. Allah says it's not going to. If we want to learn the life of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, it's not all about salat and hajj and zakat. It's more how they treated their spouses, how they care for their children, how they take their house, how they built their homes, where they made it the most peaceful and loving environment. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we learn from Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, where we become the best example for our spouses, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Where we become the best caregivers for our spouses, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Where we become the example for our children, Ya Rabbal Alamin. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show us the right thing and help us to do the right things, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Ya Allah, show us the wrong way and help us to stay away from the wrong, inshaAllah. Bin Nabiyyi wa Ali Muhammad, sallu ala Muhammadin wa Ali Muhammad. I don't know if there's a question. I can take a few questions, if there is any question. If there's any question, please feel free. And there's no question, then we're good to go for dinner. Inshallah, it looks like there's no question. There's a question, how do the single find wives? I tell the singles, go to the masjid and centers. Because the masjid and centers is supposed to be the place to get everything. Unfortunately, and I'm going to say this, it's very sad, that our centers and masajid is only turned to our lectures and food and to socialize. That's it. Well, when you look back to the time of the Prophet, masjid was the center of everything. When somebody is looking for a job at the time of Rasulullah, where did they go? Masjid. Somebody wants to find a wife, where did they go? To the masjid. Bilal al-Habashi, how did he find a spouse? One time he came to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, Assalamu alaikum. The Prophet said, Wa alaikum assalam. Say, Ya Bilal, are you married? He said, no, Ya Rasulullah. Say, Ya Bilal, why not get married? Say, Ya Rasulullah, I don't know anybody. I say, Ya Bilal, go and knock every door that you find in Medina and tell them Rasulullah sent me to come and ask for your daughter's hand for marriage. That's as easy as it is. Bilal went to the door. Salam alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Who are you? I said, Ana Bilal al-Habashi. What do you want? I says, Ji'tu khatiban. Tu'tuni alhamdulillah. Tarudduni alhamdulillah. I came to ask for a wife. If you welcome me, alhamdulillah. You reject me, alhamdulillah. But the Prophet pointed as house where to go, right? It turned to be that house. The man has 3 daughters. You know what that means? Rasulullah knows all the houses in Medina. Now, then the Prophet, the Bilal, when he asked, then the man said, I don't think I want to marry my daughter to Bilal. The man's daughter, she said to the father, Dad, did you hear what Bilal said? The daughter was telling the father, did you hear what Bilal said? So what did he say? He said, Rasulullah sent me. When you reject him, you reject Rasulullah. So if you want to respect Rasulullah, listen to what the Bilal is talking about. That's how easy they were able to marry one another. Masajid and centers needs to be more than just to come and eat and listen to lecture. We have to open our centers to be more inclusive to many things where mu'minin can help one another. That's number one. Number two, I also urge all the centers, all the communities, to set up the committee for marriages. Set committees for marriages. Well, what do? They do matchmaking among our sisters and brothers. Because today, this is a big problem, brothers and sisters. Our sisters in our communities, they don't have spouses. Now they go outside to bring someone non-Muslim, to make them Muslim so that they can marry them. Where's our brothers? Why the sister have to go make somebody Muslim so that she can get a husband when they have a lot of brothers among ourselves? We need to make committees in our centers where that committee takes the responsibility of our matchmaking among our brothers and sisters. That is also one way to get spouse, inshallah. Yes, please. That's right. That's one of the challenges. Today, the brother is saying the children need to listen to the parents, especially when they suggest for the marriages. You know, one of the big challenges is that there is a big dispute among the youth and the parent. The children or the youth, they think parents don't know better. That's what they think. Parents don't know better. Why? And I'll tell you the reason. They said, you dad, you mom, this girl that you see her at the center with hijab, with all of this, I see her in some places. She's not as good as you think. When she comes to center, she's mashallah Muslim and practicing. But when she's out, she's a different person. We see her where you can't see her. We see her on Facebook. We see her on Twitter, her pictures and all of that. She's not that religious. That's one of the what children say. And then they say, not only that, they said, look, father, this is my life. I should be able to choose. I'm the one getting married. I'm the one who's going to live with her. I need to make that choice for myself, not you. And then the father or the parent telling them, look, I care for you from when you were the first day conceived. We care for you and did nothing but good for you to become who you are today. Do you think we cannot do the right by choosing good spouse for you? That's what the parent said. Good. Not only that, the parent tells this young man, look, you might be engineer, you might be a doctor, you might be a professor. No doubt about it. But guess what? You have zero experience when it comes to the spouse. You might have some experience in what you have trained to do. Yeah. But if you come to a relationship, you haven't been married before, you don't know nothing about a woman. You don't know nothing about a man. But I, as your father, I, as your mother, I've been married to your father. I've been married to your wife, to your mother. All these years, I know what is good for you. That is why Islam says, as a young man, when you want to get married, listen to your parents' advice. Because they are like the aspect in that field which you haven't stepped in yet. They have seen and gone through something, you haven't been through that. So listen and pay attention to their suggestion. That's why Islam gave a father what he called wilaya on a daughter, that he has to give permission before the marriage takes place. Because he is the one who can see what is right for her and what is wrong for her. So that is what Islam suggests. That as a young man, as a young woman, we should always listen to our parents' suggestions before we decide to go with someone or not to go with someone. Yes. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa
Just a quick reminder again that tomorrow we will inshallah be having the first day of the Saturday Meher School, and it will be starting, the program will be starting at 9:30. So at 9:30 with, so please plan to attend. Hopefully we'll see you all. فردا برنامه مدرسه مهر از ساعت 9:30 صبح شروع میشه و تا ظهر با نهار و نماز جماعت خواهیم داشت. صلوات محمدی بفرست.
صل على محمد. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا فاطمة، السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا محمد الحسن، السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام على علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم المنتظر. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآل محمد.